Hello and welcome to the day ahead. It is Wednesday, April the 29th. I'm Andrew Gagan. The local market is set to extend its recent losses, with ASX futures down around 0.4%. Uncertainty over the Middle East conflict, rising oil prices and caution ahead of major central bank decisions this week has weighed on sentiment, with European shares near three-week lows. Wall Street's run of record closing highs has ended, with renewed concerns over the AI boom weighing on technology stocks days before five of the sector's most high-profile companies are due to post quarterly results. Semiconductor shares, which have surged more than 40% so far this year, weighed on the Nasdaq, which suffered its biggest daily percentage loss in a month. Well, shares of Oracle, whose reliance on OpenAI for its cloud computing ambitions has been under scrutiny, fell more than 4%. All eyes will be on Alphabet, Amazon, Meta and Microsoft tonight as they report earnings, followed by Apple the following day. General Motors advanced after the car maker beat quarterly profit estimates and lifted its full-year earnings forecast, boosted by a resilient US car market and an expected tariff refund. UPS shares dropped after the package delivery company reiterated its full-year revenue target as spiking fuel costs offset underlying business improvement. Coke rose following a better-than-expected quarterly report, with it raising its annual earnings target, while Starbucks beat estimates for quarterly comparable sales and raised its annual forecasts. And Visa beat estimates as the world's largest payment processor benefited from a steady rise in payment volumes, sending its shares around 4% higher in extended trade. Well, US-Iran peace negotiations remain stalled, with President Trump unhappy with the latest proposal from Tehran, which would set aside discussion of its nuclear program until the conflict was concluded and passage through the Strait of Hormuz resolved. Posting on social media, President Trump said Iran has just informed us that they are in a state of collapse. They want us to open the Hormuz Strait as soon as possible as they try to figure out their leadership situation, which I believe they will be able to do. Meanwhile, the United Arab Emirates, one of OPEC's biggest producers, is quitting the oil exporting group, weakening its control over global oil supplies and further widening a rift between the UAE and Saudi Arabia, the dominant member of OPEC. The move is expected to allow the UAE to increase output once exports via the Gulf resume, and it would no longer be governed by OPEC quotas. Well, US Treasury yields rose with higher oil prices as mounting doubts over a near-term resolution to the US-Israeli war. The yield on the 10-year note rose to 4.36%, the 2-year was up to 3.85%. Australian 3-year government bond yields rose to 4.8%, the 10-year is up to 5.1%. US dollar index is up slightly for the day. The Aussie dollar is currently trading at 71.8 US cents. Well, oil prices rose as investors assessed the stalemate in the Iran conflict and news that the United Arab Emirates was cutting ties with OPEC. Oil prices briefly pairing gains on that news, but Brent was last hovering near a 3-week high, while West Texas Intermediate broke through $100 a barrel for the first time since mid-April. Crude rising 3% to $111 a barrel. Gold has fallen to a near 4-week low on persistent inflation concerns. Spot gold down around 2% to close to $4,590 an ounce. Copper was off close to 2%. Iron ore down around 0.5% to $109 a ton. And Bitcoin is currently trading just above $76,000. Ahead locally today, we get the quarterly read on inflation, with a 35% surge in fuel prices forecast to drive the CPI headline number higher. And among the companies reporting quarterly results today are Woodside Energy, Vulcan Energy and 29Metals. That is your day ahead. We'll see you again tomorrow.